Well, hello everybody. It's Friday night and I'm still trying to keep up with this 30-day challenge from my fantastic nonprofit coach, Jennifer Yarbrough. And so today is day 4. And so I wanted to make sure that I got it in today. And I wanted to talk with you about some things. Yesterday, I got quite a few comments about my video. I actually had some parents who messaged me and indicated that they knew others who had experienced some of the problems that I was talking about. And so I want to talk about that a little bit more tonight. So yesterday, I put a statistic up, and it said that 65% of high school students were taking developmental classes in college in Prince George's County. And before I go on any further, my name is Anita Gibson. I am a coach, speaker, and educational strategist. And I wanted to come and share with you guys today about academically, can you know where your child is? So yesterday I was talking about how the statistics show that 65% of students in Prince George's County high school graduates were needed to take remedial classes or developmental classes at college. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I had someone ask me, well, how can you know if your child is, ready and prepared for college? And I thought about that question. I thought, that's a good question. And one of the things that I always say, help and hope are here tonight to try to answer that question. So, how can I know if my child is ready academically? You can do a couple of things. One of the things you can do is if you have a child who's reading, you can ask them something to you. A lot of times we spend our energy getting the homework done that the teacher has given, and many times when we try to help, the student will say, well, that's not how Ms. Green said to do it. So take something that is not connected to the school and find a great book that might be there in the house or something from the library and see if you can get them to read it and see where their reading is, especially if you haven't done that recently. If they're resistant to that, you might have to trick them and say, I can't find my glasses right now. I don't know where they are. Could you read this for me? I really, want to see what this news article is talking about. And maybe you can sneak and get them to do it that way, especially if they're an older student. But I have had so many parents come into my office and be surprised and in shock at where their students really were in their reading abilities and in their math abilities. You might want to ask them to write a paragraph for you and see if they know how, to see if they know what the process should be, because you may assume that they know those things and they don't. You might want to check and see, do you know your multiplication facts? And just start, asking them, okay, what's 5 times 6? What's 7 times 8? To see if they know. Just don't assume because they brought home a work assignment that had multiplication on it, that they actually have mastered, have memorized their multiplication facts. 2 different things. Something else that you can do is go to the educational store and grab some math books and have them bring them home and say, can you, on a weekend, just do 5 problems for me. Just show me how smart you are. So you're going to have to be creative, but there are some ways that you can check and see how they're doing. Make sure you're sitting with them and doing their homework and not just asking them, did they finish it, but actually sit with them sometime and see what the problems are and see how they're doing with them. Those are all ways that you can tell where your students actually are. You might have a high school student, and we had this situation where a student got a B in Algebra 1 at the school that he came from. But when it was time for him to do Algebra 2, he not only had not or did not either remember or had not learned the Algebra 1 concepts, but he actually had to go back and begin to do some of the basic kinds of math, his percents and his decimals and those kinds of things. And so sometimes things slip through the cracks. Like I shared yesterday, there are some schools where the teacher is giving the student credit for turning in the work and not for whether the work is right or not. And so I've actually had students come up to me and say that they actually have a standard answer to questions that they would just put down because they knew the teacher wasn't checking the work. And of course, they thought they were getting over. But in the end, it comes back to bite them because now people expect them to know certain things that they don't know. And of course, a child isn't going to know any better. He's going to do what the adult is saying. But guess what? God gave us these children. And we might not be experts, and we may not have a degree in, in education or those kind of things. But we know our child, and we love them. And guess what? We might not know it, but we'll figure it out. And they are just that important. So you have to have time when you have children in school. You have to have time to make sure you're able to know that what they're doing, what they're getting, is really helping them. So I share with you about Gary's story. You might say, help and hope are here. Remember I said that earlier? Well, what kind of help? Well, we have a learning center. I am a coach. And so I'm able to provide academic strategies. I'm able to provide coaching. Of course, the Learning Center, as I just mentioned, you do not have to be frustrated. If you're not getting the answers that you want from your school system, there is another way to get this done. Your child is not at the mercy of anyone. And you belong to God, and so does your child. And he has every intention of them getting what they need. I'm not the only source, but I'm letting you know that I am available to help. Hope that even though your child might be struggling, they will have the opportunity to become stronger in their academics. And we have all kinds of strategies to help with that. That they'll be able to graduate from 12th grade and not have to go to any developmental classes, but be able to start right at the freshman level. And here, help and hope are here. We're in the community. We're flexible. We're available. We want you to know that we get it. I had the opportunity to homeschool 3 children all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade. So I've learned quite a few things. But I've also had the opportunity to be the director of a program since 2002 where I've been able to coach families and students through all kinds of academic issues. And so there's not much I haven't seen. But what I am seeing is the need for parents to begin to just take a little closer look. Just check a little bit more. Don't make assumptions about what you think your children are learning or what they understand. You might even want to consider getting a tutor for the summer, just for maybe 4 or 6 weeks, that can assess your child and tell you exactly where they are, so that you will know in the fall what to do with them, whether you need to have continued tutoring, whether they're on track, whether they have holes or gaps. That tutor should be able to do an assessment with them and be able to help them to get those foundations built, be able to tell you where the gaps are. Yeah, parents, we're our children's champions. We are their advocates. There is no one else in this world that cares about them more than we do. And God has called us to be champions for them. So it doesn't matter if we don't have what we think we should have as far as expertise. All we need is that we love our children. And we know that God has called us to stand up for them. So if you feel like your child is not giving you, hey there, Trina, thank you. Oh, appreciate that. Amen. So if you feel like your child is not getting what they need to get, you do not have to wring your hands and feel hopeless. There are answers. I don't care if they are failing for the second time in 9th grade. I have seen turnarounds. I don't care if they're in 4th grade and they can't read. I have seen turnarounds because there are a lot of ways to get this done. I'm actually working on a book called Starfinder. And the reason why I call it that is because every child is a star. Every child has amazing gifts. They're not academic, but they are in all different kinds of areas. And when you tap into that child's passions and their strengths, believe it or not, it actually helps with their academics. And so I want to start a movement. I want the world to know that you might be struggling, your child might be struggling, you might be wringing your hands, but God has created that child for a purpose, and you can accomplish it. You can help them with it. Yes, you can, because God made you that child's parent. So you might feel like you're coming up short, but it's okay because He has already got your shortness covered. In fact, He knows everything you're short about, and He still gave you that child. That's how much you do this. So I'm Anita Gibson, coach, speaker, education strategist, and I'm the president of PXL Academy, a learning center. You can get that one-on-one, hands-on learning experience. We're having an open house on April 12th from 6 to 6:30. Just go ahead and if you want to inbox me, oh, you needed that, Trina. Awesome. I'm glad that I could help. If you would like more information, if you would like the location for where our open house is going to be, please inbox me. But we would love for you guys to come out, take a look at our facility. We're also doing a showcase that night. Our partner, Shabbat Christian Academy, our homeschool students will be in the house at PXL Academy, and they will be presenting. They will be sharing their career boards, their science boards. We'll be announcing science fair winners. It's going to be an amazing night. I really hope that you can attend April 12th. From 6 to 6:30 is the open house, and then from 6:30 to 8:30 is our showcase. I'm so glad you guys are interested in what your children are doing. You are the greatest, the most important person other than Jesus in their life today. And you have everything you need to give them everything they need. All right, guys. Love you. It's Anita Gibson, coach, speaker, and educational strategist. And I just finished day 4 of the 30-day challenge by Jennifer Yarbrough, our nonprofit coach. All right, guys. Take care. Good night.